Child psychologists agree that play is extremely important for the development of a child. However, in recent decades, free play has experienced a decline due to factors like changes in early education and increased fear about children participating in activities viewed as potentially unsafe. Now, what is free play? According to Peter Gray, a leading researcher of play, free play is defined as, quote, activity that is freely chosen and directed by the participants and undertaken for its own sake, not consciously pursued to achieve ends that are distinct from the activity itself. This sort of self-directed and unsupervised play, or at the very least extremely lightly supervised play, is incredibly important for a child. So let's get into it. As a quick disclaimer, we're going to be predominantly talking about children about 5 to 9 for simplicity's sake. So imagine you have a group of children and they're all playing a game together. Now, some of these children think that the game is played one way, because that's how they're used to it, while the other kids think that it should be played another way. These two groups wind up getting angry with one another, thinking that the other is cheating. Now, if the children are able to resolve this conflict, that can teach them problem-solving skills and conflict resolution skills. It can also teach potentially other skills as well. For example, say that the leader of the game is able to calm everyone down and is able to come up with a compromise. That's leadership in addition to problem solving. Additionally, say that they're able to come up with a creative solution that incorporates both of the ways to play, or they're able to come up with a different game. That's creativity, that's imagination. There are multiple potential skills that can be learned from this experience. And worst case scenario, if they're unable to resolve the conflict, they can just stop playing. This is a low stakes scenario, and that is one of the benefits of this kind of play. And they're not diffusing a bomb. They don't have to get it right. If they can't get it right, they can just stop playing. Play allows them to experience these sorts of real world, as you want to put it, situations of conflict or leadership or what have you, but in a low stakes environment where, worst case scenario, it's still not that bad. It's sort of the training wheels for life where they can develop skills that will be used later when they're adults.
So, what do you think might be some consequences to not having much play in your childhood? Whether that be imaginative play, like we were just talking about, or just really much free play at all. Like if everything is super structured, super supervised, and they don't have very much independence even in that field of their life.
Well, it's important to have structure, but it is also important to have play. So if you have a mix of both, then you can end up being like a good citizen who like is like a good person and doesn't, you know. But if you have too much structure and too much control over your child, then once they get out into the real world, they are not going to want any of that, and so they are going to go off and do whatever they want. And they can't really be trusted to make the right choices because they don't know what really is good for them, no matter how many times you've told them, because they have never experienced any of it before. So really, it comes down to how much play are you giving your child and how much structure are you giving your child.
Another important aspect of play is the social aspect. Beyond just enabling situations where children can naturally learn good social skills, it's also a way that children tend to form and strengthen friendships. And these friendships are extremely important. According to ResearchLink, an online therapist site, in an article written on April 21st of this year, quote, early childhood friendships shape who we become in profound ways, influencing everything from our social skills to our mental well-being, end quote.
It made me closer with my siblings, and yeah.
While Elizabeth was talking about siblings in that clip, it still demonstrates the concept of how play can bring children closer together and strengthen bonds, which, as mentioned earlier, can have all those positive effects. Now, another way that play can have positive effects on children, and the last way that we're going to be talking about today, is that it can help them process complex or difficult emotions. Say that a child has a dog die. That's a very upsetting situation, and since they're so young and because they've hopefully never had any other experience with grief, it can be extremely overwhelming and confusing. Play, however, can be a good way to give them an outlet where they can safely and freely express and process those emotions in their own way, at their own pace. It can help them work through it and understand it a little better, as well as sort of analyze the situation so that they can figure out how to approach it. It gives them a way to understand this overwhelmingly confusing and difficult ball of feelings. Play is extremely important for children. In the last few decades, it has been going down due to factors like fear about children participating in events that might be unsafe, or at least deemed unsafe, and the changes in early education. Kindergarten and first grade, for instance, have gotten far more academic. And while things like learning how to count and read are obviously important, we're stripping something away from children if we put too much emphasis on academia at such a young age. Play is able to teach children certain things that can't really be learned in a traditional classroom environment. Things like leadership, or social skills, or even how to deal with complex emotions. These are extremely valuable things, and they're not just for fun. Play can seem like just a enjoyable thing that's just kind of useless and nice, but not all that helpful. It might even seem like a distraction, but it is actually a vital part of a child's development. So let the children do what they do best.